Welcome to the RealPowerFamily YouTube channel. Today we have Ethan Wohlwend, my brother.
Hello.
And me, Deven Wohlwend, best-selling author of The Garage. So, Ethan, you're the best-selling author of The Treehouse, and for this video I'd like to do a bit of a behind-the-scenes about how these books were created. So, let's start off with you. In your book, The Treehouse, what's your favorite part of it? And how did you come up with the idea for that?
Well, my favorite part is the whole book, I guess. I don't really have a favorite part. I like the whole thing. It depends on what you're going for. Do you want drama? Because if so, you might like the later parts of the book. If you want just a fun story, then the whole book's fun. But on to your other question, how did I come up with the idea for that? Well, I started off by coming up with character ideas, and the main character, I based it off of myself, and I based his friends off of my friends. So I kind of based Joe somewhat off of you, and somewhat mostly off of our friend Isaiah. And Katie, I based off of my friend Michaela. And I just came up with these ideas, and I'm like, alright, what's a fun story that I can add lessons into to teach kids? So, I took what I thought was my childhood hideout and fun place, the treehouse, which, as of recording this, is actually right over there. And I took that, and I'm like, alright, treehouse. Now, I just need to come up with a plot. So, I like building things. I built multiple things out of wood for Christmas presents for family and friends. So, I think it would be cool if he built the treehouse. So, I made the story where he goes out and finds some scrap wood from a construction site.
Kind of like you did for making those wooden things. You got some scrap wood from the garage.
Yep, the garage. And he used those to build the treehouse, and he accidentally finds a way to invest by using that scrap wood and starting a handyman business, which is one of the lessons, is to use the world around you. There's abundance everywhere. You just have to be able to use that.
Well, that's really interesting, Ethan. Let's get into a little bit more specific. So you talked about the characters, you talked about the treehouse itself. What about the protagonist of the book, the city code inspector? How did you come up with the idea for him, for his cousin having a rival company, a rival handyman business? How did you think of that?
Well, obviously there's got to be a protagonist. There's got to be someone that stirs up the mix. So I figured I invest in real estate, and one of the biggest expenses for me is the government and the cities. So what better to do than, what more fitting than to make it the city code inspector? And because he has a relative who has a handyman business, and it's kind of a monopoly. There's only one handyman business in that whole town. So he doesn't do a good job. And he just overall doesn't do the job well. Bad service and overpriced. So I just came up with a way for the city code inspector to try and help out his family by stopping these kids, because the kids actually caused a problem for the city code inspector's nephew, I think it is. Because he created competition, then that caused a problem for them. And I thought that would be funny, because it's a group of kids who are too big a competition for a grown-up adult.
Was that line from Scooby-Doo? And I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for you darn kids.
I'm not sure where that is from. I haven't heard of it. But yes, that is what it's based off of.
So, let's cover one more thing for this video. Atlas Gold. You mention him a few times throughout your book. Where does he come from? What's going on there?
So, my brother, wrote the book The Garage. And since they're kind of similar stories, they're both fictional with lessons throughout, I figured it would be funny. What is the thing that I really like? I like TV shows, and they're really cool. I think they're really cool when they have crossovers. Like, I know the TV show The Flash and the Arrow and stuff do crossovers.
Or used to, at least.
Or used to. So I thought, why not do that with our books? That just makes it even more fun for the reader. So, later in my book, the characters Darius Knight and Katie actually meet your main character, Atlas Gold, at the library.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just a tie-in, so they would end up helping out at the park. And a way to introduce them. That way they could have one more friend, one more person to help them, one more person to help promote their handyman business. And then they have ways that they can help other people. Those other people being Atlas Gold.
Well, that's
enough about my book. Let's hear more about Atlas Gold and more about The Garage from you.
So, I wrote a book called The Garage, where this character, Atlas Gold, builds a really cool delivery drone because, well, he loves doing coding and robotics and building things. And one of his hobbies is to build robots. So he built this drone, and after testing it with a couple of his friends, he starts using it and actually kind of turns into a business, selling the drone, letting a couple of the other businesses in town use it. And so everybody ends up happier. Except, of course, we have to have a bad guy in there somewhere. So who's the bad guy? I chose the mayor and his whole extended family, kind of based around the real world. Because, like Ethan mentioned earlier in the video, we're in real estate, and our biggest expense, our biggest hassle, our biggest issue is government. And in real world, a lot bigger than just the city government, the government for the entire United States, and I'm sure a lot of other governments, there's a lot of corruption in it. Families helping other members of their family, or, a couple of families coming together to do things. And I'm not going to go too far into that because some of it I don't have proof for, and other parts will get me thrown off YouTube. That's why, if you're watching this, it's probably also on Rumble, also at RealPowerFamily. But anyway, make sure to follow us, subscribe, all of that fun stuff. Anyway, so
the city code, or the
city government.
Yeah.
I decided that's the bad guy for me in real life, so that would be the bad guy for me in my books. Because Atlas Gold is a character heavily based on me. I also am a little bit into coding. Nowhere near him, but I have a feeling we'd get along well. Which, actually, in my next book in this series, which I recently finished writing, it's currently being edited, that book actually introduces me as a character in chapter 17. Atlas actually meets me and comes to a real estate meeting, and that's really cool.
And one of the fun things about that is me, because it also introduces me as a character, Darius, which is based off of me, and Ian, which he is based off of me, right?
Ian is a little bit based off of how I picture Ethan.
Yeah.
So,
and they all meet in one room, so
I don't think Ian meets up. I didn't want all three Ethans to get together. I thought the world might explode if that happened, so I decided I'll leave that for another book.
If you want to learn more about that, read it when it comes out. What's the name of that book?
So, my first book is called The Garage, and the next one that's coming out this fall is called The Fall and Rise of Atlas Gold. And all three of the books that we've talked about so far are available on our website, clearskytrainer.com, or RealPowerFamily.com also gets you there.
And, well, almost all of them. Again, the one's not out yet.
Well,
but if you follow us on all the social medias at RealPowerFamily, then you can get updates on what's happening with that book.
And then they're also on Amazon if you want a paperback version. But anyway, so yeah, these books are all tying together. So you get the crossover, you get to see different points of view, different stories. And you get to, there's a character for each person out there. So you like the more building, you might relate more to Darius or Joe or Katie. If you like more of the coding and robotics, then you'll probably like Atlas. If you like ice cream or doing a little bit of silly stuff, you like the comic relief, you got Ian. You want to see an interesting fights between a kid and a city. That's in both of the books. But there's something there for everyone.
In both books.
Yeah, in both books. Or all three books, I guess, when the third one comes out.
Anyway, if you want to learn more about these books, or if you want to get these books for yourselves, again, RealPowerFamily.com, or if you want paperbacks, then you can get them at Amazon.com.
Do you have anything else for us today?
A couple words of wisdom. Be creative and take action. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Real Power Family Radio Show.